This is pretty neat. This is my number one hive. On the second box is 10 frames of bees. This is the end of November. Last year they were way smaller when I had the original queen. They're darker bees, but I think they're not as dark as they were. I'm taking their feeder away, so I tried something. I poured a little stream of sugar water on every one of these frame tops. I tried not to let it splash over. Some of it did. See, they're darker bees, but I don't think they're as dark as they were. They got some more orange in them than they had. They were just dark, dark, dark. Now they a lot more orange. Very friendly. I'm here, no gloves. This is the main one that I bred off of last year. Most of my apiary is off of this hive. It superseded itself, requeened. You can't make these guys sting you. I mean, they are just friendly. This is the most PPE that I put on all year, and I really don't need it with these guys. It's amazing. I made 7 splits and still made 30 or 40 pounds of honey off of this hive. Ain't that amazing? And I grafted off of it like 3 or 4 times. When you get a good hive and you want all your other bees to be like this, you go ahead and breed off of it. This is a beetle trap. I've learned they get hooked up a little bit and the beetles hide underneath here. What I like to do is come along here and crush them. Beetles will be hiding underneath there sometimes. You hear them crunching. Every hive that I have one of these in, this is cheapy from Amazon. They're one piece. You can't clean them. You can't change the stuff. I don't know. They were $1.50 each, or $2 or $3, something like that. Man, they work. I use diatomaceous earth, and I like it because that oil will spill all over the place. I don't know why, but I do. I'm getting ready to do the winterization. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a shim so I can put a sugar brick on. I don't think they're going to need it. Last year, this hive, it was smaller going into winter last year. Maybe in the breeding they bred with a little bit more prolific bee. But last year this hive only ate 3 to 4 frames of honey through the whole year. It was double deep. Pretty neat. So what I do, if you got something foreign in there, like there's a leaf, take that out. See, look. See, look, he flew on me, but he don't know why he flew on me. When you get in here and they don't want you to mess with them, what they do, I love these bees. I love them. What they do is they'll buzz around your face, and they're telling you, "Get out of here, leave us alone." They don't. It's great, and they're prolific, and they make. They start slower in the last year. We'll see what they are this coming year. It was one of my first nukes that I bought, and I bought 4 nukes. I bought off 3 different senior beekeepers. One guy sold me 2 nukes, very good bees. Got a good value. Another guy sold me these bees. These were really good bees. It wasn't the biggest nuke, but it was a decent nuke for a fair price. And then the other guy sold me a dud, an absolute dud. It had 3 frames of bees. He told me, "Oops, I did not feed these." He didn't feed them. It didn't have no honey, no sugar, no stores. I didn't have a bee jacket in there, and I was hoping to make him into mentors, so I didn't complain. I just took the bees. And then when I got within 6 weeks, they were done. They were through. It was a bad queen, no resources. I fed them as soon as I got them, and even give them pollen subs. Once I opened it up and really looked in the frames the next day, I figured I paid $140 for it, and I had to give the guy back his box, and it was absolute dud. So I didn't complain in the beginning because I was hoping to make that guy into a mentor. He didn't want to have nothing to do with me. Just sold me a nuke, took my money, said, "Don't call me, I won't call you." So I encourage those of you that do sell nukes, and I'm selling nukes, man, at least answer some questions for some guys and be friendly and help people out, man. Because you know, a lot of people, when they get in, if they have a bad experience, they quit and they're out. And the more beekeepers we have, the better. And I've already taken on my first mentor. I'm not the oldest beekeeper. This is the completion of my second year, but I have been putting myself in this, learning as hard as I could. Last year, I got up to, I think last year the number was 26 is the biggest I got to last year. I went from 4 to 26. I graph my own queens. I mark my own queens by hand. I'm going to develop this into a sideline business where I can pay some of my bills, and I'm on my way to between 100 and 200 hives. Last year I made 25 queens. This year I made 36 queens. So far in 2 years, I have made 61 queens in different ways. Some are grafting, some are splitting in all different ways, whether it's walk away, cutting out cells, moving swarm cells or supersedure cells accidentally from one to another to make more queens. Um, I learned a ton, and I can definitely teach people the basics this year coming. You know, 'cause who has more experience? A guy that's had six hives for 4 years, or a guy that's had, you know, 30 hives for 2 years? You know, you ask yourself that. I think a lot of it has to do with repetition. Seasons do matter, and how many years that you've seen the seasons come through that do teach you about the flow of the year and when to do this and when to do that. And I'm determined to absolutely be great at this. I love it. It's fun, and if you need help, I will gladly help you. Um, I have learned how to get bees through winter very well. I learned it off a friend of mine. The key to it is to have lots of stores, have clean bees that are not full of mites, that they are disease free, and we use a condensing lid. What that is you put insulation in the front. Now look, the bees did all these nooks and crannies. See all those holes? Daggone bees did all that. So I don't know what they stored up in there. They've stored something up in there. See, I don't know what that stuff is. They stored something in there. Probably propolis. What you do is I like to put in 2 layers of insulation in these lids. These fell out. I put 2 layers deep, and there's the thing on ladybugs. And then what it does is these only have one layer. I have to get me another layer of insulation. Um, what you do is you put 2 layers of insulation in there, and then what happens when the heat and the cold are not so drastic on that piece of wood, and it don't make condensation on the top, it makes it on the sides. The bees need liquid, so they'll go to the side and they will eat the water. What they don't use goes down to the bottom instead of raining down on your bees, which kills bees. And I learned that off a friend of mine named Ken, super smart guy. He runs about 80 or 100 hives, and he was gracious enough to teach me. And I'm just simple enough to listen to this guy because he's really smart. The condensing hive, I don't put any hole in the top. I don't put any ventilation. He told me if that's such a great idea, why don't we put ventilation at the top of our house? I thought, well, that's right. So I go with condensing hive. Last year we had about a 95% success rate, and it worked great. And I'm gonna do it again this year. I think it's the way to go. It makes sense to me. I hope my videos have helped you. Check out my YouTube station. Most of my videos are pretty short, 5 to 10 minutes. Check it out. Give me a like, subscribe, help a guy out, and be blessed.